Hi, good afternoon from the Civic Centre in Leyland, and welcome to our first Q&A session where we've invited a multitude of questions from our local residents up and down the borough to answer the issues that are important to you during this COVID crisis. It's something that we think is really important, and it's something that we think that you all require absolute direct access to the leadership here at the council. And so what we've done, there's a number of questions that have come in. So here we go, thank you. Question 1. Do we have a date when the tips will reopen, or the waste recycling centres? So the centre we have in South Ribble is the one that you'll all know at Farrington. We've had more complaints and challenges about the waste recycling centres over the last 2 or 3 weeks than anything else about them not being open. And this is one of the areas of local government that really frustrate me, because I'm going to give you a bit of a slopey shoulder answer here, in so much as South Ribble Borough Council collects the waste, but unfortunately it's the responsibility of Lancashire County Council to manage the waste recycling centres around the entire county, and ours in Farrington. We've asked the County Council a number of times now to seriously consider reopening them. We need them, and my view is, from day one, the Borough Council, we've never stopped collecting waste. The guys down at the team at the depot at Moss Side have done a wonderful job, and they've continued to collect your waste from your homes. However, for other reasons that we don't fully agree with, the County Council made a decision to close the waste recycling centres, citing that they were non-essential journeys. Now clearly you may agree or disagree with that. And the argument of South Ribble is that we believe that the disposal of waste is an essential journey. Anyway, I do now hope, as of today, that the government has updated their guidance on this, and we understand that there is going to be a phased reopening of all the waste recycling centres in Lancashire, and we will keep you updated. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to access them and start disposing of your waste. But please keep an eye on the Facebook, on the Twitter, and on the website of both South Ribble and Lancashire County Councils, and we'll keep you all fully updated. But I do think that there will be a change quite quickly now. Again, not directly linked, but in respect to the waste, we have been asked questions surrounding why we don't or can't supply additional skips around the borough for you to dispose of waste. Unfortunately, this is just something that the team we can't consider to do. There's a multitude of reasons why. We're concerned about how they would be managed, the commingling of waste. It would be actually asking you to come to areas that aren't fully managed, and we believe it's not the appropriate thing to do at this time. Given that the waste recycling centres are due to open in the next week or two anyway, hopefully, we don't think there's a requirement for the skips, but there's certainly something that we're not looking to do in the short term. The next question we received was, why do we have to pay for garden waste collections? Which is a very good question. The reason that we've had to introduce the charge here at South Ribble is that central government deem the collection of garden waste as a non-essential service. As you'll all be aware, we have had our budgets cut to the bone at South Ribble, as is every other local authority, and we had the option. We either stopped collecting the garden waste, as it's deemed as non-essential, or we introduced a small charge so that we could keep supplying the service to you all across the borough. We made the decision we wanted to continue with the service, therefore we had to introduce the charge. The good news is, and hopefully you're all aware of this, we've re-looked at the budgets for this, and we've reduced the charge for 2020-2021 by just under 20%. We've taken a £5 off the annual cost of the collection of your waste, and which I think is positive. And what we do and what we undertake to do is we'll review this as part of the budget process this next year as well. But fundamentally, we have no option to charge because it's deemed as a non-essential service, but it's a service that we still want to deliver for you. The next question was regarding business grants and the timescales involved in the awarding of these grants. We've worked tirelessly over the last 3 or 4 weeks to get these grants out to our businesses. We are acutely aware of the stress and strain the local businesses are under. We've taken about 3,000 inquiries here at the Civic Centre, which has resulted in over 1,500 grant applications, and we've actually paid out approximately £15 million in the last month to our local businesses, which I think is tremendous, and hopefully it will offer the support that you need. However, we are acutely aware that you may need more and you may need other assistance, and so we urge you all to keep in touch with us. You all have our contact details. Please stay in touch. Any inquiry at all, even if it's associated with the central government schemes, we are here to assist. The team next door have the answers for you, and they will point you in the right direction. In respect to the time it's taking to deliver these grants, it's anywhere between 5 and 10 days between initial application and the money landing in your bank accounts. So the next question we were asked was, how is the council business still taking place? How will committees be run? And will members of the public be able to speak? So you're probably all aware, recently the government passed the Coronavirus Act down in Parliament, which has basically given and provided for emergency powers for local authorities to continue working without the necessity of councillors meeting here at the Civic Centre. This must be done in line with a council's constitution, and so the Chief Executive, in consultation with myself, will make any urgent decisions as deemed appropriate. These are published and all councillors get to see these, and they are also on the website. However, this is only a very short-term facility that we're looking at South Ribble. It's my personal view that the democratic process must kick in as quickly as possible. So I'm pleased to announce that next week is going to be the first full council briefing for every council member, first live briefing, where myself and the Chief Executive will be available to answer all questions from all elected councillors. There's weekly briefings going out to all your elected members already. We're then looking at virtual meetings for the planning committee, virtual meetings for the licensing committee during the months of May and June, and I've asked and tasked the officers of the council to look at I would like to hold a formal cabinet meeting at the end of June, and looking somehow to hold in a full council meeting at the end of July, and getting us back into normality where best we can. Hopefully you'll all agree, you'll have seen no drop off in your council services here at the Civic Centre. It is still very much business as usual. It's just doing business slightly differently. So to conclude there, we have new legislation, emergency legislation in place. The council is still running and decisions are still being made. And if any of you have any specific queries about this, please do get in touch, and of course we'll answer those for you. Next question we got was, what is happening with Worden Hall? Well, I'm pleased to announce that in the background the officers have continued to work on the detailed design and the procurement options for the upgrading of Worden Hall, and it's actually still on track. So we're hoping that there will be some further detailed papers coming forward for the Cabinet to consider in the coming weeks, and I'm absolutely convinced, and I'm still convinced, that we'll have contractors on the ground at Worden Hall in the summer, which is wonderful news for the community. This is one of those schemes where the officers of the council were still able to work from home on the details that we were asking them to look at for us. So yeah, still on track, and hopefully we'll have contractors on site by the summer. The next question we received, quite a number of you, was regarding grass cutting, and it's a very reasonable question, to be fair. The decision was made some 5-6 weeks ago when the lockdown commenced that the grass cutting stopped at that point. We've reviewed this weekly since we made that decision, and I'm actually pleased to announce that we've recommenced the cutting of the grass verges, the roundabouts, the public spaces and the parks today. We have a little bit of catch up to do, as you can imagine, because this should have, as I say, commenced 5 or 6 weeks ago, but it has recommenced now. We've reviewed this in detail. We think it's safe for our operatives to work cutting the grass now, maintaining the social distancing, But we also think it's important for you, our residents, that the areas remain clean, they remain safe and remain tidy. So you will all notice over the next few days, if you haven't noticed already by the time this video is released, that the grass cutting within South Ribble has recommenced. So that was the 4 or 5 of the main questions that we've had over the last couple of days. Please do continue to put your questions into us, either via the email, via the Facebook site, via the Twitter site, and we'll run these Q&A sessions again as much or as often as you want us to do. There's clearly going to be a number of queries that come up in the coming weeks, and we're here to be held accountable ultimately and do what's required to be done to keep the borough thriving and to support you all through these quite challenging times. So please all do stay safe and keep the social distancing. Things will get better, and I'll speak to you all again very soon.